Welcome to the Top 5 Money Mistakes webinar. Today we'll discuss money mistakes and simple do's and don'ts that can make a big difference. The world of finance can be tricky. Everyone makes mistakes. It happens, but it can lead to problems, and these problems can escalate if you don't correct them. So, we're here to provide information to help you avoid these common mistakes. Mistake number 1, living beyond your means. Do you suffer from FOMO, fear of missing out? Are you trying to keep up with your friends? Or PMS, poor me syndrome? Are you living beyond your means? Do you carry high credit card balances? Or are your cards maxed out? Are you saving less than 5%? Or have no savings at all? Can you pay the bills on time? Is your credit score below 600? And do you have money left at the end of every month? Some people feel as though they need to spend every last cent they have. There's this need to keep up with everyone else. But if your pockets can't afford it, then you shouldn't do it. According to Fidelity.com, the secret to achieving financial goals is by saving money. But that can't happen if you're spending every penny you make. According to other studies, Americans spend $1.30 for every dollar they earn. So we're already overspending. There is this 50-15-5 rule, and this could be used as a starting point for a budget or spending plan. This is where 50% of your take-home pay would be used for essential expenses such as housing, food, utilities, and other regular obligations. 15% would be used for retirement, and 5% to short-term savings. The rest is left over to spend or save as you like. A few ways to know that you are living beyond your means are if you're carrying high credit card balances and your cards are maxed out, if you're saving less than 5%, if you can't pay your bills on time, if your credit score is below 600 and you have no money left at the end of the month, this means trouble. Our next common money mistake is having no emergency savings. In March of 2018, the U.S. household personal savings rate was just 3.1%, according to the Federal Reserve. Many households live paycheck to paycheck, and an unforeseen problem can easily become a disaster if you're not prepared. The result of overspending puts people into a precarious position, one in which they need every dime they earn, and one missed paycheck would be disastrous. This is not a position you want to find yourself in if or when an economic recession hits. Well over half of Americans admit they would be unable to handle an unexpected expense, such as a medical bill or car repair, if it was outside of their regular budget. Being unprepared for a financial emergency can cause additional problems, such as going into debt to fund an immediate expense. Try to set aside at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a savings account to tide you over during unanticipated tough times. And make sure you have all the insurance that you need: health and disability insurance for unexpected medical issues, car insurance for accidents, homeowners or renters insurance to cover your home and belongings, and life insurance if you have dependents. Our next common money mistake is not having a budget. Not keeping track of what's coming in and what's going out each month can lead to stress and many sleepless nights, not to mention financial disaster. Creating a personal budget is easier than you think and can give you deep insight into where you are at financially and where you could go. I recommend using a spreadsheet to create expense and income columns to get a running total of your expenses that you can update when necessary. Now we'll talk about how to create a step-by-step budget. First, create a list of expenses. Start with the bare necessities. When creating a personal budget, it's best to start by making a list of necessities that you have to pay each month. This includes mortgage or rent, utilities such as gas, electric, water, sewer, public transportation, medical expenses, and groceries. For the most part, those are the only necessities. Figure out how much you're paying over 12 months for each and get a cost average per month. Next on the list are things that give you security and peace of mind, like health, life, auto, and home or rent insurance. After that, there are things that include items that people want but don't really need. If your expenses exceed your income, this is the place to cut back. And you should cut back things like internet access, cable or satellite television, a phone, or an auto lease or a loan. Step 2 is to create a list of income. The important thing here is to make sure that you list only take-home income, not your pre-tax salary. For those who are self-employed, consider averaging what you make over a year. Next is step 3. Evaluate your net income or loss. Take your income and subtract your expenses. If you have a positive number, you're doing better than many. Take your extra money and put it into a Roth IRA or a retirement vehicle. If you max out a Roth IRA, invest the rest in a mutual fund. If you're in the red, you'll have some work to do. Step 4 is to prioritize and rebalance. The great thing about a personal budget is that it opens your eyes to where you can cut back so you can free up more cash. For instance, get 3 quotes on each of your insurances once per year to evaluate if you could be saving by switching. If you're in the red, consider where you can cut back. Common money mistake number 4, having too much credit card debt. Too much credit card debt is a sign that you are making some mistakes. If you have a hard time controlling your spending, you're going to want to leave your credit cards at home. Having high balances or maxing out your cards is a sign that your credit card use is out of control. Stop using the cards and create a budget to get those balances paid off. Paying the minimum each month is not designed to get you out of debt. Every month that you only pay the minimum means you're carrying a balance. The credit card company is charging you interest and making money off of you. When your debt load is high, make the highest payment that you can afford to pay off the debt fast. If you find yourself relying on credit cards for essentials or to cover expenses on a regular basis, it's time to review your spending and beef up your emergency fund. Depending on credit means you're spending more than you earn. Credit is used for practically everything, from getting a mortgage, a new car, renting an apartment, to getting employment. So if you let your bills get past due, that will affect your credit. It's wise to check your credit and make sure that the information is accurate. If you abuse your credit privileges, it can haunt you for many years. Common money mistake number 5 is not planning for the future. We tend to place a higher value on short-term rather than long-term benefits, even when we know long-term is more important. Putting off savings for your future is a common problem. If you do not get your money working for you in the market or through another high-income producing investment, you cannot stop working. Ever. Making monthly contributions to designated retirement accounts is essential for a comfortable retirement. Take advantage of tax-deferred retirement accounts and/or your employer-sponsored plan. Your financial future depends on what's going on right now. Many people spend countless hours watching TV or scrolling through social media, but setting aside 2 hours a week for your personal finances is more important. You need to know where you are to know where you are going. Make spending time planning for your finances a priority. So the image on your screen now shows a person reaching their hands out, but the proverbial money tree is just out of grasp. So close, yet so far. If this is how you feel before payday, then you're doing something wrong. Where is all your money going? If it's all going to bills, then you have way too many to handle. If that's the case, get help. It's imperative if you want to get out of the cycle. If all your money is gone and it's not on rent or mortgage, transportation, and bills, then there is a big problem. If you can't figure out where it all went and what you spent it on, then that means you need to sit down and work on a budget and spending plan. To recap, the 5 money mistakes often made are 1. Living beyond your means. 2. Having no emergency savings. 3. Not having a budget. 4. Having too much credit card debt. 5. Not planning for the future. The bottom line is you must think carefully before taking on new debts. Keep in mind that being able to make a payment isn't the same thing as being able to afford the purchase. Don't bury your head in the sand because you refuse to admit that something is true and that there is a problem. It will not go away on its own, but with time, effort, and discipline, it can be fixed. Always remember, this is not an overnight process. Changing behaviors and habits don't happen right away. It takes a conscious effort. Thank you for attending the Top 5 Money Mistakes webinar, and we hope that you'll check out our other live and on-demand webinars.